What if I told you that your blood test result is a complete lie? In this video, what I'm going to do is take a look at some of the biggest misconceptions and also myths around certain biomarkers that we get from a blood test. What's up guys, my name is Lucas, the founder of Ergogenic Health, and my mission is to bring you the most cutting edge health information that you'll struggle to find on Google. First of all, let's start out with my stance on blood testing. Now, when it comes to blood testing, my personal opinion here is that it is absolutely paramount to be getting a blood test performed at least twice a year if you are proactive about your health. There is a few exclusions to this particular comment, and that is that more frequent testing is absolutely paramount in severe disease states, when we're undergoing specific therapeutic interventions, or if the individual is using performance enhancing drugs and or steroids, which obviously require more frequent testing, as our biology is going to be affected dramatically by these powerful interventions. Number 3 is that I think blood tests can definitely provide a good snapshot of our overall health, and they can absolutely provide us with a foundational, a baseline measurement to actually help us understand how we're functioning internally, and then sort of match up some of these symptoms that we're experiencing with, the blood test results. So that's without a doubt some of the 3 points that I want to mention when it comes to blood testing. So the very first blood test lie that I want to mention is your liver enzymes. Now, what we can see here in a typical liver function test panel, there are many different markers of liver function, but the key ones that I want to emphasize in this video is ALT and AST. So alanine transaminase and also aspartate transaminase. So these 2 markers, we can see the reference range is between, let's say, 1 to 50 IU per liter with the ALT, and then 10 to 40 IU per liter for the AST. The reason why this can be a complete lie is if you trained either 24 to 48 hours before your blood test. Now, what's interesting is that this particular study found, and it was titled Exercise-Induced Elevation of Liver Enzymes in a Healthy Female Research Volunteer. Now, what they noted was that there was an increase in these liver function parameters if the individual exercised before the blood test. Now, I'm just going to quote what they noted from the study. Physicians in clinical practice do not routinely order a CK assessment in the setting of elevated transaminase levels. These patients are often misdiagnosed as having liver problems that can lead to inappropriate discontinuation of medications, further unnecessary testing, or referral to a specialist. With the increased awareness of the importance of exercise and strength training, psychiatrists may encounter patients with or whose liver function tests are elevated owing to muscle injury or delayed onset muscle soreness. When evaluating patients with elevated liver function tests, it is important to assess exercise habits and creatine kinase, in addition to inquiring about medications and supplements that may cause liver or muscle injury, or both. So as we can see here, one thing to really take hold of, or to take note of, I guess, is did you train super intensely, or did you do some sort of exercise that was quite intense, 24 to 48 hours before your blood test? And if so, that may be affecting your AST or ALP markers, and also your ALT markers in your blood test results. So that is something you need to consider before doing a blood test. So a good rule of thumb is to completely stop training up to 48 hours before your blood test to get the most accurate reading as a result. The second blood test lie is in fact your thyroid function study. So that is specifically your TSH value. Now, you've probably heard me talk about the disruption, or I guess the inaccuracy of our TSH value, and why just assessing your TSH score is almost completely as useless as, not even assessing it at all. The reason why TSH is absolutely useless is because we need to see what TSH is in the context of your free T3 and free T4 levels. If you want to take it a step further, ideally we want to also look into reverse T3, TPO antibodies, TG, thyroglobulin antibodies, and also total T4. The main point here is that your blood test can be a lie if you're simply looking at your TSH score. For example, there have been clients that I've worked with that have a TSH value of, let's say, 2.5. And if you look at the reference range, it looks like it's, in the middle of the reference range, because it does come across like that. And oftentimes the doctor will say, your results are normal. When really, if we're looking to optimize our health, ideally we want our TSH score between about 0.75 to about 1.5, because that will indicate that there's potentially good actual thyroid hormone output, good T3 and T4 production. So please do not accept what your doctor says. If they come back and say your TSH result by itself is normal, make sure you get your T4 and T3 levels checked as well. Now, the next blood test lie is actually your fasting blood sugar level. Now, the reason why I believe this is a bit of an arbitrary marker and not truly reflective of your overall health is because it does not accurately represent someone's metabolic adaptability and flexibility. Now, the reason I say this is because a high fasting glucose level can also mean that the person didn't sleep well the night before. They may have just eaten a bad meal the night before. They may have felt really stressed just before getting the blood test done. They may have been very nervous whilst the doctor was drawing the blood, where really what's more important is actually to track our glucose levels using a continuous glucose monitor, which can track your blood sugar levels 24/7. And instead of relying on a blood test, which is literally just a snapshot of our fasting glucose, we can literally see and we can track our blood sugar levels, using these continuous glucose monitors, which I've got another video coming out talking about what I learned from wearing a continuous glucose monitor. So you will see a link to purchase a CGM device if you really want to, get nerdy and understand your body better. You'll see that linked in the video description down below. Now, the next blood test lie that I really want to emphasize and highlight is actually your blood calcium level. The reason why I think this is a bit of a lie is because, number one, the body does an amazing job at keeping your blood calcium levels stable. And it does this through the other hormone known as parathyroid hormone, which raises blood calcium levels. Now, the reason why I think this is a lie is because I've seen, vegans think that they're getting enough calcium just from, small amounts of broccoli here and there. But really, that won't show up on a blood, you won't be able to identify low calcium levels on a blood test or low calcium intake just by looking at a blood test, because the body does a very good job at actually keeping your calcium levels stable. You can see in this diagram here what the typical normal calcium levels range from. What's more important here is that we actually get our parathyroid hormone checked. Now, this is often a marker that is neglected, but the main job of this parathyroid hormone is to actually maintain the extracellular fluid calcium concentration. And if we look at a normal range for the parathyroid hormone, we're looking at about 10 to 60. The main job, as I mentioned, is to actually, act as a negative feedback based on calcium intake. So with a low calcium diet, it actually increases parathyroid hormone, which is a stress hormone. And by having a low calcium intake, we're actually causing the body more stress because we're raising this parathyroid hormone. So here's a quote from Dr. Ray Peets. The parathyroid hormone is an important regulator of calcium metabolism. If dietary calcium isn't sufficient, causing blood calcium to decrease, then parathyroid hormone increases and removes calcium from bones to maintain a normal amount of calcium in the blood. PTH has many other effects contributing to inflammation, calcification of soft tissues, and decreased respiratory energy production. Calcium is needed for cells and brain to function. Your bones are a source of calcium or a storage form. If you don't eat enough calcium, your body will draw out that calcium from your bones to compensate for the lack of calcium from your diet. And the hormone that's responsible for this is parathyroid hormone. So hopefully this video gave you a bit of insight into your blood test and also some of the big lies, I guess, when looking at our blood test results. If you did find this video helpful, please like the video. Please do check out the links in the video description. There's more amazing health resources for you to check out if you want to learn more. But otherwise, thank you everyone for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.